previously worked with such figures as Pat Roberts and Jerry Falwell to focus on the family's James Dobson. However, he felt increasingly alienated and experienced a crisis of faith that would ultimately lead to his departure from the evangelical movement. And his novels include Portofino and Saving Grandma, and his non-fiction books include Grace of God, Patience with God, Faith for People who don't like religion or atheism, Sex, Mom and God. And his latest book is Limitless Lunacy, a manifesto of creative redemption in the age of Trump, fascism, and lies. And just to buttress what you just told us, Frank, that recent polls found that over 40% of evangelicals in this country would back Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, even if the sex assault allegations were proven. What I find extraordinary is that we have already this theater that went on, in effect, with the White House circumscribing. To this day, we don't know what the parameters of the FBI investigation were, and the White House won't say so. So this was obviously railroaded through, and, let's face it, Kavanaugh worked closely with both Chris Wray and the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, when he was in the George W. Bush White House. And of course, Chris Wray, the head of the FBI, was 2 years behind Kavanaugh at Yale. There is a sort of, and they're all members of the Federalist Society, along with Don McGahn. So we know how extraordinarily successful the Federalists have been in putting this guy as the fifth on the court. And the leader of the Federalist Society, Leonard Leo, is a member of the ultra-right-wing Knights of Malta. That's the different side of religious fundamentalism in this country. You've got the Protestant evangelicals, that your parents were the leaders in organizing the religious right. But then you've got this compact with the far right-wing Catholics, and Kavanaugh will be the fifth of, when you think of Roberts, Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, and now Kavanaugh, those are very five extremely conservative right-wing Catholics. They hardly represent the broad diversity of the United States, let alone the diversity within the Catholic Church.
Well, more than that, the seat that these Republicans held open by refusing to even have hearings for President Obama was until another far right-wing Roman Catholic, Scalia, who was passed away, and they held that seat open so they could get not just a clone in terms of the legal philosophy, but someone that makes Scalia look like a moderate when it comes to his Kavanaugh public viper-like strikes and hatred, venom-soaked hatred against not just women, and his mockery of Dr. Ford in implying that she's just a liar or deluded or whatever it might be. But in terms of his obvious desire to take revenge on what he regards as the Clinton party, or the liberals, these other folks, in the same way that his own conduct is unimaginable to be seated on the court. Just the side of his open, public smearing at liberals and Democrats, and his reaching down even into the kind of insane conspiracy theory territory so many Republicans on the right online have gone. This is the mainstream conservative Republican. And mainstream Republicans like George W. Bush, who, by the way, I knew personally, I have handwritten notes from his late mother thanking me for, my family's work and so forth, back when we were connected with the religious right. I mean, you can't imagine George W. Bush on his worst day thinking that it would be okay to put somebody on the court who would act this way. Now, in private, over a drink, whatever it might be, they might talk that way. But even they don't have a good sense to not act this way. So what's another thing that Trump has let out of the box, and Pandora box is open on us, is a new group of Republicans like Kavanaugh who don't even pretend to be part of the American system as we understand it. The judiciary used to present itself as neutral and open and interested in the national good and the Constitution, and we've now got to a place where in a hearing we have someone clearly just not only act like, but clearly lay out exactly the manifesto of bad manners on behalf of far-right conspiracy theory type Republican white trash. There's no other way to put that. It's just the gutter bottom of the Republican Party. the kind of people like Alex Jones and these others. That's who's now heading into the Supreme Court on the back of having tried to discredit a woman who was assaulted at age 15. So when and then of course there's this horrible asymmetry with the fact that this is the man who's going to be the deciding vote on rolling back Roe v. Wade, but that's only going to be the tip of the iceberg. It's everything to do with women's rights.
Well, look, if you're a Democratic governor in a lawsuit with the federal government, which is being heard by the Supreme Court, and this happens all the time, you're toast in front of this guy. I mean, he's made it clear.
Yeah, and you're toast if you're an FBI investigator who tried to do any kind of a decent job on any investigation that's gone after any part of the Trump fiasco. And what you're seeing now is a situation where Supreme Court justice is also going to be a deciding vote on whether Trump gets to pardon himself, pardon whomever it is that comes up before him, whatever Russian agent gets caught, whatever it may be. It's open season. We're not even in the area now. You just have, I'm going to say it again, hypocrisy is often a sign of virtue in the sense that there's a standard that people try to pretend they're adhering to, even if they don't belong there. We're now past even hypocrisy as a kind of backhanded compliment to virtue. We're not even pretending that we are a Supreme Court justice. We are just simply a far-right operative snarling and yelling and weeping his way through a hearing because an expected privilege may be denied. That's where we've come to. So the thing is, I mean, Kavanaugh is, of course, in the light of what the Trump cast or the darkness he cast, Kavanaugh is just another bit player. But on the larger stage, he is proof that people who said, oh, well, it doesn't really matter who's president, they're all the same, the Republicans, and Bill Clinton, all this other stuff, it won't really matter who's in power, besides which they kind of are all the same. They're not all the same. We have a level of extremism now coming in with Trump in the Supreme Court, the likes of which nobody my age remembers, and I don't think anybody older would.
Well, just in the last minute, Frank, just to sort of round off this idea of how far the religious right has fallen from grace, a new movie is called The Chosen One. It's a film that claims that Donald Trump's election was an act of God, and it's opening in more than 1,000 cinemas across the country on Friday. The Trump Prophecy, which posits that God chose the philandering billionaire to restore America's moral values. I'm not making this...
Well, all I can say is where have we come to? But I will go further than that and say, listen, I wrote a book called Why I'm an Atheist Who Believes in God, so that's where my head is at. That said, if I was still in my old fundamentalist Christian ways and still believed what I believed as a fundamentalist evangelical in the 60s and 70s as the son of an evangelist, I would be saying you're right. Trump has been brought to this country by God because America has fallen so far from God's grace that this is the ultimate judgment and damnation against this nation. So the funny thing is, by the standards of the evangelical movement that I was part of in the 60s and 70s, you could spin this another way, and that is you could have made a movie based on the morality they said they adhered to, family values, fidelity, truth, compassion, love, becoming Christ-like, wanting people to imitate Jesus. What would Jesus do? All the rest of this. For those who haven't been along for the ride, if you put them in a time machine and brought them to this moment and watched Donald Trump mocking a woman who had been assaulted at 15 and said, that's your Christian witness now if you go with this guy. Look, there are your fellow evangelicals laughing. They would have said, these people are bringing damnation on the United States. And if there's a movie about how Donald Trump is an instrument of God, it is as an instrument of judgment, that like some Old Testament prophecy, or even in the book of Revelation, or even one of the Proverbs in the book of Proverbs, Solomon's Proverbs, it's like that. I've given you a fool and a clown and an oppressor.
Right, and
for your king.
And you mentioned the book of Revelation. Maybe he's even the Antichrist. I'm afraid we've run out of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm afraid we've run out of time, Frank. but I thank you.
All joking aside, that's the deal.
Right. Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time, but I thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.